Thank you, Mr. Can I join the Prime Minister in paying tribute to Private Cuthbertson, Private Gamble and Private Murray of 2 Para, who were killed on Sunday? Every week, we quite rightly stand here and read out the names of those who have fallen, and we must remember every week that behind every name is a family and friends who are suffering from the loss of a loved one. The Prime Minister and I have both visited Afghanistan. We know that our soldiers are doing incredible work in difficult conditions on our behalf, and quite simply, they are the best of British. The Prime Minister, I'm sure, will also agree with me. It is clear why we're there, that if we go, the Taliban come back, the training camps come back, and there will be more terrorists on British streets. But after 7 years of work in Afghanistan, can the Prime Minister today give us a frank and candid assessment, not just of where we are doing well, but where much, much more work needs to be done?
I agree with what he says about both the contribution of our troops and the bravery of all our service men and women who serve in Afghanistan in every theatre of the world. In Afghanistan, we are making progress in training the Afghan army, in training the police of Afghanistan, and in building economic and social development in the country, which means that people in Afghanistan have a stake in the future. When the Afghan elections took place, 70% of registered voters voted. So Afghanistan became a democracy, and it was shown to be so by the elections. When the Taliban were in power, there were only 2 million children in education, none of them girls. Today there are 6 million children in education, and 2 million of these are girls. And that is a result of the changes that we're making. I agree with him that this is a long haul, but our duty is to stop the Taliban ever gaining power again and to stop Al-Qaeda making inroads into Afghanistan. And that is why there are 43 countries that are part of the coalition in Afghanistan.
I thank the Prime Minister for that answer. I've seen the work of training the Afghan army. It is fantastic, and I've seen some of the schools that have been built. But is there not a risk that while we are winning militarily in Afghanistan, we are losing at least parts of the country? Has he heard the reports that the security situation around Kabul is deteriorating, that corruption is paralysing the work of the Afghan government? I'm even told that some of the roads that we have built are being used by the Taliban and other bandits to extort money from ordinary Afghans who are too terrified to use them. It's now 6 months since the Prime Minister made a full statement in the House about Afghanistan. Doesn't he agree with me that one of the lessons from Iraq is that it's only by being candid and frank and giving regular updates that we can take the British people with us in this vital task?
Well, I'm very happy to give him regular updates of what's happening in Afghanistan, and the Secretary for Defence has just returned from being in Afghanistan and looking at the situation on the ground. Nobody is saying that the position in Afghanistan is easy. Everybody knows that in the spring the attacks by the Taliban start again. But last year, because of the action against drugs and heroin, the number of poppy-free provinces doubled to 13. We hope to this year to see more progress. So it is not a case of things going backward. It is a case of us seeing progress. And our strategy set out in December, which was the Afghanization of the army and the police force, with people being trained by British forces and other troops, and the police being trained by an operation led by the German police, is actually gaining ground. And our aim is that Afghans take more and more responsibility for their own affairs. We are able to tackle corruption by opening up local as well as national government, and we invest, like in the dam project, in the economic and social development of Afghanistan. But I have to say to him, if he is doubting the reason for being there, the reason for being there is we cannot allow the Taliban to get back into power, and we cannot allow Al-Qaeda to get a grip on the province.
Speaker,